Hey there, this is Practice Problems 10. A couple of tips to get you started here. Number one, you buy a shirt for 20% off in a locale where there's an 8% sales tax. You expected the clerk to figure the discount first and then apply the sales tax on the reduced price. But the clerk figured the sales tax first and then the discount. Were you cheated? If so, by what percent? If not, justify your answer. Okay, so two scenarios, so I'm going to divide my paper in half. Okay, so on the left, we're going to go discount first, tax second. And on the right, we're going to go tax first, discount second. Okay. And the tax is 8% increase, right? Because you're adding on tax. And the discount was a 20% discount. Okay. Over here, 20% discount first and a 8% increase second. Okay. Now, key thing here, you don't have any information to start. So you've got to pick an amount for your shirt. So let's see. I'm going to start with percent and dollars. And the original price first. And I'm going to do the discount first. And I'm going to call this the subtotal. Right, before they add on tax. So the original is always 100%. Your discount is 20%. And so if you're discounting it, you're decreasing. So subtract. That leaves you 80% for the subtotal. You don't have any dollar amounts here, so we're going to go ahead and make up one. I'm going to go with 50. Okay, you can go with 100, make it even easier. But I'm going to go with 50. And that way I can just divide each of these by 2. And that way I get $10 discount to make it a $40 shirt. Okay, so my subtotal here is $40. The discounted shirt is $40. Now I've got to add on an 8% sales tax. So I'm going to do that next. So I've got the subtotal, still percent, still dollars. And then we have the tax and the total. Okay. So now you're doing things to the subtotal. So your subtotal is now your 100% because that was the first one. And you had $40 because that's coming from the first part. And then we're adding on an 8% tax. So it's a total of 108. Okay. And then you can either figure out the tax and add that on, which is probably what I would do. So I'm going to put my X here. And that will give me 100X equals 30. What am I doing here? 8 times 40. So 320. Divide by 100 to get $3.20. So my tax is $3.20. And then I could add those two together to get $43.20 as my total amount. Okay, and that's the total amount if you figure the discount first and the tax second. So now you're going to do exactly the same thing, only you're going to reverse it. You're going to start out with that original amount. And I'm not going to do this, but I will set it up for you. So you're going to start out with your percent and your dollars. And you're going to have your original. And now you're going to add your tax in first and then get your subtotal. Okay, so same kind of thing. Put in your 100, put in your 50. Your tax is 8. So when you add on the tax, it's 108%. And you're going to figure out this box, right? Once you've done that, you're going to come down here and you're going to take your subtotal in percent and dollars. And then you're going to figure the discount. And then you'll get your total. Now the subtotal is, again, your 100%. This number will come down here, right? Because that's your subtotal from up above. Now your discount is 20 and your new total is going to be 80. And again, you can find the discount and then subtract, or you can just find the 80. Okay, whichever works for you. But then you're going to find this number right here. And you're going to compare it to this number over here and see what happens. Okay, so 2 full processes. So it's actually 4 subproblems. Okay, so number 2 is going to be very, very similar to what you've done before, and I'm going to give you the first step and let you roll from there. So in a basketball game, Angie scored a third of her team's points. So we're going to have percent and points, and you have Angie, Beth, Julie, the rest of the team, and I'm going to go with the whole team. The whole team is going to be your 100%. And Angie's 1/3. So if we convert 1/3 to a percentage, you're taking 1 divided by 3 and multiplying it by 100. Standard conversion. So 33.3. Beth is 15%. Julie's 1/4. So that's 1 out of 4 times 100 gives you 25. So that's 25%. And the rest of the team scored 16 points, right? So what I need to do is I need to figure out this amount, right? If I can figure out this amount, then I can use the rest as my bridge, and I can figure out how many points the whole team scored over the whole game. And I can find this box by subtracting. So if I take 100 minus the 33.3 minus the 25 minus the 15, I get 26.7% there. And now I can set this up as my cross multiply. Okay, so you can take 26.7x equals 1600 and go from there, right? And this is going to give you your points for the whole team, whole game. Now, part A says, how many points did the team score in the first half? So now we're going to split that whole game into first half and second half. So you're going to set yourself up with percent and points. First half, second half, whole game. The whole game is the 100%. And you can go up here and it says 60% of the points in the second half. Okay, so second half would be 60. Okay. And the first half would be the rest of the points. So if it's got to add to 100, then this would be 40. And the points that you find from up here go right here. And then you can answer the question about the first half because they're asking for this number here. Okay, so you can figure that out. Then this part B says, how many shots did the team take in the first half? So from there, we're going to say, okay, stick with your percent and points. When we talk about making or missing shots, you're going to take a shot and you're either going to miss it or you're going to make it. So you're going to miss, make, and take. And then we think through which one of these would be the 100%. So do you miss 100% of your shots? Do you make 100% of your shots? Or do you take 100% of your shots? The answer is take. So we put our 100 here. And they're asking how many shots did they take, so that we're going to find the number of points that they take. And the ones that count are the ones that you make. And so this number here, your X, will go here in the make spot. And our percentage from right here says that they hit 55% of their shots. And when they hit their shots, it means they make them. So they make 55%, which means they miss 45. And you can use that to go ahead and find your X. So that is kind of our 3-part process when it comes to finding that information. And then lastly, number 3, in preparing for the county's budget for next year, planners intend to keep costs the same as this year's, except for increases in the total budget of, 5% for salaries, 3% for benefits, 3% for energy, and 4% for maintenance and supplies. Now, because this is in relationship to the whole budget, so it's 5% of the budget, 3% of the budget, 3% of the budget, 4% of the budget, I can add these together. So I'm going to go percent and dollars. And then we're going to have the old budget, the increase, and the new budget. And I can go ahead, and the old budget's going to be 100%, and I can go ahead for the increase and add up all of these. So 5 and 3 is 8, 3 and 4 is 7, 8 and 7 is 15% total. Okay. And they're increasing the budget, so my new percentage would be 115 because you're adding those two together. Now the new budget calls for 32.2 million. So that's going to go under my new budget. And this is dollars and millions. And then we're asking for what is the current year's budget. So we're asking for that one. So we can use your bridge, which is the old, so 100, and the X, and or actually what you're looking for is the old, and your bridge is the new. And we can go ahead and cross multiply. So that's going to be 115X is equal to 3220. Go ahead and divide both sides by 115 and go on from there.